Hi guys, welcome to my third and final part of this iMac guide for dummies. In this last part we're going to talk about several issues that we left off in the previous videos. So I want to delve in a couple of other features of the macOS operating system. Mavericks introduced a couple of important new features. One of these is notifications. Here, it allows you to display a notification in the upper right of your screen when an email or an IM, an instant message comes in, so you can reply or delete it without interrupting what you're doing. This is very interesting functionality, but can be sometimes a little distracting. And so from the notifications preferences, you can turn on do not disturb option. Uh, for example, to disable notifications in a specific time range of the day when you know you're busy. You can turn them on from default options here are from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. but you can customize here, and you can also customize the way other applications work when do not disturb is turned on. Another really interesting and useful functionality that I use a lot is dictation. Dictation and speech allows you to dictate text using your internal or external microphone, and it's very useful to start drafting a text. For example, I used this functionality a lot when I start drafting my posts. It has been really improved by Mavericks because now the user don't have to be offline to use it, and the only thing he has to do is enable here using has dictation. Once you've done this, you'll be requested to download the file, and in this case you will be allowed to use the dictation even when you're online. I'm gonna practically show you how this works. You hear the sound? This means the dictation is active. So everything I say will be transcribed. Now you'll see that all I'm gonna say will be transcribed. I am the Lizard King. King. I can do anything. Oh, when you're done, you click here, done. Cool, isn't it? Another functionality with macOS needing some more consideration is the mouse setting here, because by default the right click isn't enabled. To do this, you need to click here on secondary click and enable click on the right side from the drop down menu. This way you'll be allowed to use several functionality utilizing the right click of the mouse. iCloud allows you to synchronize your files between all your devices. So if you have an iMac and other Apple devices, you can synchronize all your files between them without losing anything because it's all in the cloud. Another important thing to know is how to install and uninstall programs with macOS. To install a program, once you downloaded the Mac version of the installer, all you have to do is run the installer or sometimes copy the file into your applications folder, depending on what the install is about. For example, in this case, with this kind of files, you have a package that's extracted, clicking here, and you have an install procedures very similar to Windows. Here you click on continue and next till you finish installing. The only difference with Windows is that here I will be requested to enter my administrative password to install the software. I won't do this because I have already done this setup. So another thing you gotta remember that when you launch the installer, it's considered by macOS like an external hard drive. So once you've finished installing, you need to eject it like this. Okay, now I'm gonna show you another example. I wanted to install Google Earth because I wanted to check on some maps. As you can see, this is typical Mac installation because it requires you to drag this file, that's the actual application, into your applications folder like this. Once the application is copied to the applications folder, you can start using it. If you want to uninstall a software present in your iMac, you simply need to move the application you don't want to the trash and empty it. Usually that's the normal procedure to uninstall the software in the macOS operating system. Sometimes the software installed as its own uninstaller, just like Windows, for example, this Belkin storage software as its own uninstaller. So in this case, I better use this to uninstall it instead of the normal procedure. Other times, as software, once you uninstall it, leave some orphan files, though this is not a big deal in macOS, unlike Windows. If you're a little more geeky like me, you may want to get rid of the orphan files using an application like App Cleaner here. Uh, how does it work? Very easy to explain. The only thing you gotta do is drag the application you don't want anymore, for example Google Chrome, on this window, and App Cleaner will look for all the files related to the application in your operating system, including the preference files. Once you click on delete, all these files will be moved to the trash, and you can empty the trash to completely uninstall the application. Now, I won't do this in this case, but I think you got the picture. A very hot topic about macOS operating system is if it can be infected by malware or not. For many years, the common belief has been that macOS can't be infected by malware. Recent detections anyway revealed that's only another myth to be debunked. In fact, it isn't correct to say that Mac operating systems can be affected by malware. To the most, we could say that is less likely than Windows, much less likely, because most of the computers around the world are Windows based. So hacker targets mostly Windows computers because they are the most common around here. In the last years, when Mac computers have been a little more popular, in fact, some malware for Mac has been released, and I can prove it myself because yesterday I found 6 infected files on my iMac. So that's another evidence that we're up with another myth. Anyway, I don't want to delve much longer into the subject. If you're more interested in further details, I can forward you to my Clam XAV antivirus for Mac review here on my blog. So I think we can close here my final part of the guide to macOS for Dummies. If you're interested to further details and to go beyond the basics, you can have a look at my macOS Mavericks review here on my blog at this page. Thank you very much for your patience and attention, and I hope you can follow me in the next videos and posts. Thank you very much, and have a good day.